Good morning to one and all present here. Talents wins, but teamwork and intelligence win championship. On this notes, let us begin today's webinar. I'm Aravindan, Assistant Professor from EC Department. Take great privilege, Mr. Sriraaman, Business Manager, EDII, Annamalai University. President and Vice President, Vice Principal, Academic, Dr. G. Prabhakaran Sir. Vice President, Dr. K Raja Sir, faculty members, and most importantly, the participants from various colleges. We welcome you all to the online webinar titled The Role of Technology, Business Incubators in Strengthening Innovation Ecosystem for Higher Education Institutions, organized by IIC, that is Institutions Innovation Council of SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram Campus, Chennai. Some people want to happen. Some people wish it to happen. Others make it happen. His unparalleled support and guidance has helped us to organize these events and leads it to reality. With great honor and respect, I would now request our Vice Principal Academic, Dr. G. Prabhakaran Sir, to deliver the welcome address. Sir. Sir, your mic is muted, sir. Yes, sir. Now we can see.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So very good morning to one and all. Indeed, I am very happy to be a part of this today's program on role of technology business incubator, shortly called as TBAs, in strengthening innovation, as maintaining ecosystem in especially the higher education institutions. And on behalf of the MHRD IAS of SRM ISD Ramapuram campus, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. M. Sriraaman, Business Manager, Annamalai Innovation and Incubation Research Foundation. I welcome you, sir, for this program, and thank you for having accepted and being with us today to share your vast experience, especially with respect to TBA. And it's one of the good programs being organized, which is a need of the hour, where the participants is necessarily supposed to know about what is the importance of coming out with the innovative ideas. It's quite obvious that any such idea should be focused on providing comfortness to the society. That should be the main objective. And of course, any individual, even though they have their potential idea within them, it will be very difficult to bring it on their own without the support of a proper systematic system available in any institution. Whereas in those days, actually, government itself came with a lot of schemes. Centrally, a kind of larger size workshop like this will be there with kind of space being provided with the power systems and the government system, all these things. Those who aspire to become entrepreneur, they used to approach with the full support of the government. They would have been incubated with their idea, with the technical support and other kind of supports from various government organizations coming under their control. Now it has become made so easy, whereas in fact the TBA is being established in the campus itself, whereas students need not go out and search for such kind of things. It's very well available in many of the top institutions, universities, where students with their innovative ideas through their EDII. Actually, their ideas are nurtured and actually slowly developed and finally put into a commercial product. So in that case, I believe that the today's this webinar, online webinar, will definitely be eye opener and be able to give a lot of clarifications, be able to clear the doubts being raised with the audience out of your experience. So with these viewers, I ensure that I actually wish that this program will be a success in terms of takeaway by the audience. Once again, I wish the program a grand success. Thank you for the opportunity given to me, the organizing committee, especially Mr. Aravindan, Mr. Yoganand. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let me introduce about our today's guest speaker, Mr. Sriraaman, technical engineering graduate from Annamalai University. He is currently working as a business manager in Annamalai Innovation and Incubation Research Foundation, EDII, Annamalai University. He has a previous industry experience in EID, Paris Sugar and Distilleries units. He has published one book chapter and more than 10 research papers in the domain of food and environmental biotechnology. He has received the Best Paper Award for his publications in the year 2019. He is an active lifetime member of Scientific and Technical Research Association. He has worked in various research projects of Annamalai University, IIT, Guwahati, CSIR, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, and CSIR, Northeastern Institute of Science and Technology. He also has an experience as a principal investigator in the funded projects of Institutions of Engineers India. Now I hand over the session to our guest speaker, Mr. Sriraaman, sir. Sir.
Thank you all. Thank you, Anadog, for the warm welcome. So let me share my screen. So my screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, visible, sir. So can you make it full screen, sir? Press F5, sir.
Already I'm in full screen, sir.
I think you have to share your entire screen, sir. Is it possible?
Wait a minute, sir. Is my full screen is visible, sir?
Visible, sir. Visible, sir. Yes, sir. You can start.
Visible, right?
Yes, sir. You can start the session, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the confirmation. So good morning, everyone. Today in our session, we are going to see about the role of technology business incubators in strengthening innovation ecosystem of higher education institutions. So I hope in your institution itself, you are having SRM Innovation and Incubation Center. So we have a good opportunity with TBI, and we will see more about it in today's session. So coming to the scope of this session, actually, primarily we are going to focus on TBI in this entire session, but still I will elaborate more on startup ecosystem enabling and other pre-incubators and post-incubators, such as accelerators. So first we will see about the introduction to entrepreneurship startups and TBI. Later we will see about setting up a startup, the entire startup process in brief, and stage-wise startup essentials or checklist. So we will first see about the pre-incubators, later about TBI and accelerators. I will have a stage-by-stage approach in this session. And then startup ecosystem enablers in India, such as pre-incubators, TBI and accelerators. Finally, role of technology business incubators and promoting innovation ecosystem. Just to give you a big picture, I am covering the other parts such as startup ecosystem enabling and setting up a startup. Finally, we are going to see about opportunities and funding schemes available for startups incubated at TBA. So this will be the final part of today's session. So let me proceed with a warm-up activity. So in my screen, there are three terminologies. One is entrepreneurship, and one is startup, and the other is technology business incubators. So can any one of you unmute yourself and explain the definition for any of this terminology? I just want to know about your level of understanding so that I will proceed my session very easily. So this session is organized in collaboration with MHRD's Institution Innovation Council. So your institution is very much active in IAC activities, and also your institution is having an incubator. So you should be definitely aware of these terminologies like entrepreneurship, startup, and technology business incubators. So if you share your views, it will be very much useful for me to take over the session. I just want to know about your level of understanding on these terminologies. So that we can save the time, right? I don't need to repeat much about the topics which are well known to you. That's why I'm asking. Even you may be wrong, but try to answer these. If you're wrong, it's not a matter. So please try to make an attempt. It's okay if you have some hesitation, you may use the chat bots. Sorry, I heard some voice.
No, sir,
who is that?
Myself, sir. I was just requesting participants to just share your views.
Okay, sir. If there is some comments or inputs in the chat box, please convey to me, sir. Because
yes, sir. You can proceed. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Come on, students. I want to take this session in an interactive manner. I'm not questioning you. Just I want to know about your level of understanding. So we will discuss. If you are wrong, it's not a matter. We will discuss and come to a conclusion. It's just a discussion activity, not a query session. So please understand that. Even if any one of you answer, I will be very much happy.
So one have replied in the chat box, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just read it out, sir.
Okay.
Incubator is an early stage idea that help any startup to grow firmly and can work on its own.
Great. Is there any other comments on chatbots for entrepreneurship or startup? You may also use the chatbot, students. So one of your friend has answered almost the right answer for TBI. TBA is the primary focus of this session, but still I want to explain some about entrepreneurship and startup to give you a big picture. So we'll definitely throw some lights on those areas about pre-incubators and accelerators. Not only we are going to see about TBI because if we
next comment we received from Sasi Kumar, sir.
Yes, sir. Please read it, sir.
Company in the first stage of operations is called startup.
Very good, sir. Mr. Sasikumar, very good.
And another
So-
comment from Komal Papanwar. Entrepreneurship is taking risk to set up a business.
Very good, sir. Who is that? Who is that student?
Yes, sir.
That student name, please.
Komal, sir. Papanwar.
Very good. So students, your answers are almost right. Okay, fine. Almost we got answer for entrepreneurship, startup, and technology business incubator. So all your answers are almost relevant and almost closest to the correct definition. So we will see that entrepreneurship is a person who takes risk. One of your friend told, right? So basically, entrepreneurship is a Latin word which means adventurer. So what adventurers do? They love to take risk. Now, so entrepreneurship is entrepreneur is a person who takes risk. For what? He takes risk to start his own venture in a unique way. And startups are nothing but early stage company. I think Mr. Sasikumar. So he answered the right answer. So startups are nothing but early stage companies that are in early stage operation, and they sell innovative product or service to their customer, and they are dependent on much human potential than investment. So every startup should have a good manpower and good teamwork. Investment nowadays, investment, we have a lot of opportunities. We will see that in our later part of the session. And TBA, Technology Business Incubators, or one of your students also answered that. So all the three answers are exactly right. So I'm very happy for you guys. TBA, or a not-for-profit organization promoting startups and techno entrepreneurship, technology transfer, and scalable innovations. So you see here in my slide, they are promoting startups, technology-based entrepreneurship. So where technology-based entrepreneurship are abundantly available only in technical institutions and higher education institutions, right? So that's why I have given this title for today's session, Role of Technology Business Incubator in Promoting Innovation Ecosystem of Higher Education Institution, and also technology transfer. So technology transfer means the technology will be transferred from institution to industry. So institution is automatically involved in this technology transfer activities, and also promoting scalable innovations. So where the innovations are abundantly available. Obviously in technology-based incubations, sorry, technology-based institutions like SRM Institute of Science and Technology and other engineering and technology institutes. So you guys are very lucky to choose this branch of study, that is Bachelor of Engineering or Bachelor of Technology. So you have a good scope, not only regarding your career or placement career in reputed companies, you have good career option in incubation and startup ecosystem enabling also. So we'll see more about this in today's session. And here is the exact difference between entrepreneurship and startup. So I will also explain this with an example. Entrepreneurship is adding little innovation in a conventional business, and startups are nothing but making huge business out of an innovation. So it will be somewhat confusing, right? So I will explain this with an example to make it more simple and clear. So I hope everyone is aware of tea time, right? So tea time shops are abundantly available in our South India. In Chennai, in every area, we used to have a tea time shop. So this tea time was originated from a district called Rajamandri in Andhra Pradesh. So this tea time emerged from a petty shop to a private limited company today. What they did, what is their secret of success? Simply, they sold authentic assembly in their own petty shop located in Andhra Pradesh. So business, they lacked little innovation. That is selling authentic Assamti. So this is known as entrepreneurship. And scaling that Assamti recipe, innovative Assamti recipe as a brand called Desi Tea Time Private Limited in 5+ states is a startup. So they took innovation. What is their innovation? The innovative Assam tea recipe, they took that innovation and they scaled that innovation through. So this is a startup. So I hope you are clear of the difference between entrepreneurship and startup, and also about the definition for startup, entrepreneurship, and technology business incubator. So shall I next enter into the next part of the session? Is everyone clear?
Sir, actually, I have given the security for unmuting their mics, sir. So only they cannot able to unmute the mics now presently.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
So that's why they are chatting now, sir. That's what.
Okay, 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 sir. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so fine. I will enter into the next part. So setting up a startup. Sorry, someone is unmuting. Thank you, thank you. So setting up a startup. So we are entering to the next part. Here are the 4 stages of setting up your startup. So our primary focus on today's session will be on stage 3, that is incubation and technology business incubators. But still, I will give you a big picture on other stages also. In stage 1, we will see about ideation. In stage 2, we will see about pre-incubation. In stage 3, we will see about incubation at technology business incubators. And finally, at stage 4, we will see about acceleration. After this acceleration phase, the startup will be no longer called as a startup. It will be a corporate. So here is the entire startup process in brief. So I have aligned the 4 different stages with various cell incubators and accelerators. In R&D cell, everything is used to have R&D cell, research and development, etc., etc. But every institution that to a higher education institution will definitely have a R&D cell. So in that R&D cell, a startup's ideation phase can be converted into a proof of concept phase. So basically, the idea can be tested for technical feasibility studies, and also proof of concept can be attained through this R&D cell. And in later higher education institution, we have Institution Innovation Council, such as SRM Institution Innovation Council, and entrepreneurship development cells, cells of Entrepreneurship Development and Innovation Institute of Tamil Nadu. So in these cells, we call it as pre-incubators. Here, they will convert the proof of concept into a business model canvas. So I will explain elaborately about business model canvas in my upcoming slides. And after that, stage 3. So your SRM is also having an incubator. SRM Innovation and Incubation Cell, I think. So SRM IIC. In that SRM IIC, they will convert their business model canvas into a minimum viable product or a prototype, and they will enter into the market. So this is the 3rd stage, and finally accelerator. So in some higher education institutions, we also have accelerators. I think in Tamil Nadu, Sri Krishna group of institutions have a Forge accelerator in their campus. So in that accelerator, the technology will be scaled up with the help of angel investors or venture capitalist fund. We will also see that in later part of our session. So here are the stage-wise checklist and essentials for a startup. So far we saw about the introduction about the entrepreneurship, startup and TBI, and we saw about various stages and various ecosystem enablers. So finally, we are entering into stage-wise checklist or essentials for a startup. I have given the checklist stage-wise to make it more clear and crisp. So in stage 1, what is the stage 1? Ideation stage. In ideation stage, all you need is initially an idea. That too, an innovative idea which is feasible and can create a huge impact in the society. So basically, the idea should definitely create a huge impact in the society. If your idea is not able to create an impact, it is not useful. So I have given feasible, right? So let's see about feasibility. So feasibility is classified into technical feasibility and market feasibility. In technical feasibility, R&D cells used to carry out the feasibility studies of that idea. So it can be done through your institution's R&D cell with the help of potential mentor. Feasibility. So nowadays, many companies are dedicatedly working for carrying out market feasibility studies, such as brand care and etc. So market feasibility is very much need of the hour, and this idea should create a huge impact. I told already, right? So in this market feasibility studies, they will evaluate how much impact your idea could bring into the society. So I am often talking about impact an idea can bring. So I will explain this with an example. How can an idea create huge impact? The idea can definitely create a huge impact when it can solve a huge societal problem. So your idea should be always associated with the problem statement or pain point. So start with the problem identification and not with the innovative idea identification. So let me explain this with an example. The evolution of suitcase industry in olden days during World War, we had used to have this army trunk suitcase, right? Later, they invented a trolley for this suitcase, and later they invented a wheel in 2002 or 2003, around in 2002 and 2003. Many suitcase manufacturing companies such as American Tourister and EDII introduced a trolley-based suitcase system. So what they did, they simply attached wheels in the bottom of the suitcase. So that is called as innovation. You don't even believe what you may think. What is there? What innovation is there in adding a small innovation in an existing component? But you don't need to focus more on innovation's scale. You should focus on its impact scale, because this suitcase brought a very much revolution in the suitcase manufacturing industry. So the benefits of this small wheel
Sriram,
on the bottom.
Sriram,
Yes, sir.
sorry to disturb. Um, the screen which what I can see is only the first slide. Whether it is for me alone or for the entire business, I'm not sure.
I'm often changing my slides, sir.
You're changing the slides. For me, what I can see is only the first slide. Is it happening for everyone or only for?
No, sir, only first slide is visible here.
Hello.
Sriram, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, plus, can you change the slides, sir? We're not able to see your slides, sir.
I'm just
You're able
changing,
to see
sir.
only your first slide, sir.
Still, my screen is in first slide.
Yes,
Yes,
still is there in the first
Topic slide.
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Oh, I see. I don't know why.
Put it in presentation mode, sir.
Yeah, now it's changing, sir.
How it is changing?
But it's not in full screen, right?
It is not in full
It is
screen.
not in the full screen, sir.
Press F5, sir. You will see.
But can you read my fonts? My font is
Yes,
font
yes.
size is visible.
Yes, yes.
Shall I zoom? So far, I have completed around 30% of the session. No problem. I will run through my slides so that you will get an overview.
Okay. Put it in screen present mode.
Screen.
Press F5 for that.
Full screen. I have. I will stop my screen and reshare. Now I am in the second slide, sir. Scope of this session. Can you see the full screen?
No, sir, but we can able to see only your first slide, sir. Title slide. Yes.
Title slide.
Yeah, now it's moving. Now it's like green.
Okay, I will just zoom my screen, sir.
No need to zoom.
No, sir,
Sriraaman.
your screen is visible, sir, but your slide is not been changed. Yeah, now it's changing, sir.
So my fonts are visible, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir, visible. Yes, sir, visible. Sir.
Can you read it? Can you read the points?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Then I will go with this mode itself. So far I have crossed
What
around.
I suggest you is, Sriram,
Yes, sir.
just press F5 for this. You will get it in full screen.
I am entering into full screen, sir, but that is not reflecting in screen sharing mode. Now I'm in full screen of my second slide, that is scope of this session. So can you see that slide in full screen mode?
No, here what we can see is your first
First
slide.
Yeah,
slide.
sir, Yoganand, sir, no problem, sir. Sir, you just come out of the full screen, sir. Now you can change your slide, sir.
Okay, fine.
Now
If
it's
you have
changing,
any
sir.
difficulty in reading the fonts, please let me know. I will zoom that particular
Yes,
slide
yes.
and show you.
Okay.
Okay, sir. So these are the scope of this session. Guys, I will do one thing. After this session, I will also share my slides with Dr. Aravindan sir and Dr. Yoganand sir, so you may get it through them. And warm-up activity, and then definition for entrepreneurship, startup, and TBI. Difference between entrepreneurship and startup, setting up a startup, stage-based startup approach, the entire startup process in brief. Checklist. Here are the checklist. In stage 1, we are seeing about ideation stage, feasibility, technical feasibility, market feasibility. How can an idea create a huge impact? So finally, I stopped with this slide. I think the evolution of suitcase industry. So with this, I will proceed my session. So sorry for the inconvenience. I will definitely share my slide with your professors after this session, so you may get it through them. And here is the evolution of suitcase industry. So how we started in suitcase manufacturing. We started manufacturing army trunk suitcase in World War time. Later, we had a trolley for carrying this heavy suitcase. And in 2002 and 2003, many companies, suitcase marketing companies such as American Tourister and VIP introduced trolley-based suitcase. So they just included a small beans, that trolley beans, in the bottom of the suitcase. So the innovation scale is very small, but its impact is very huge. So your innovation should also be like that. You don't need to focus more on technology. You don't need to dig about more about technology. Just a simple innovation is enough to bring a huge societal impact. This is the best example for that. So focus on your impact rather than innovation. So this is the secret of startup success. And here is a novel innovation which is not needed of the hour. So you can upgrade this trolley suitcase version into a suitcase which is having a battery and having a sensor and having a motor, which can automatically follow up with you during travel times. So you can automate that suitcase to run behind you, but it is not needed for this hour, right? So basically it's a waste innovation. So it is not needed. Like this, your innovation should be impact centric. So here is the stage 2, that is pre-incubation stage. So this pre-incubation happens in MHRD, Institution Innovation Cell, or Ministry of Education Innovation Cell, or Entrepreneurship Development and Innovation Institutes, E-cells or EDC centers. So here this pre-incubation happens. So what they do is initially they will convert the lab scale proof of concept into a proposal, and then they will start team building. So you can easily build your own team, because you will find out like-minded people in this pre-incubators, and you can fix a brand name for you, a logo, a slogan selection, and finally business model canvas preparation. So all these tasks can be completed within your Institution Innovation Council, who is organizing this webinar, or e-cells, or some other pre-incubators. So I think the business model canvas will be a new terminology to you guys. I will show some, throw some light on this. Initially, the business model, your business model canvas should contain these 9 components. So we will start with problem statement. So you see here, the primary focus is on pain point or problem statement. And we are speaking about innovation in only in 4th slide. So in first slide, you should describe about your problem statement. Then you have to describe about your customer segment, to whom the product is intended for. For example, we spoke about trolley suitcase. That trolley suitcase is especially very much helpful for old age people or kids or travel freaks, people who used to travel often, right? So here are the customer segments for the suitcase. And in 3, you have to describe about your unique value proposition. So in this unique value proposition, you have to highlight about your novelty or innovation or whatever it may be. And later only you have to describe about your solution. So first you have to focus on problem statement, and then secondarily you have to focus on customer segment, followed by unique value proposition, and followed by solution. These are the 4 major components of a business model canvas. And then you can speak about your unfair advantage. So they are nothing but unique strategic assets. So how can you prevent copyability of your innovation or technology? So the simple thing everyone will do is making an intellectual property like filing, such as copyright filing or patent filing. So in case of technological findings, we need to find design patent or patent. And you can describe those things in this 5th slide, that is unfair advantage. So many companies such as KFC and Coca-Cola are having a big secret behind their formula. So these are simply unique strategic assets. And in 6th slide, you have to describe about your revenue stream. So how you are going to generate revenue for this proposed innovation. You can say the revenue models also here. You can say about the pricing model also here. Revenue model means subscription model is one of the revenue model. You can sell your service or product through subscription based model, or you can simply sell your product through digital market. So that is e-commerce model, or you can sell your product through a referral model. So like Amway products or Tupperware, you can sell your product through a referral model. So you have to generate revenue right at the end of the day, and you have to describe about those things in this 6th slide. And in 7th slide, you can describe about your cost structure, such as fixed cost and variable cost. Fixed cost are nothing but non-recurring budget, and variable cost are nothing but recurring budget. And in case if you have drafted any research proposal, you may be aware of this two terminology. To make it more simple, if you are going to buy a car, the price of the car is very much fixed, right? So that comes under non-recurring cost. And if you are going to refill fuel for that car, you need to fill often. So that comes under recurring cost. That is nothing but variable cost. And finally, key metrics. Key metrics means how you are going to measure your success. For example, an e-commerce company, the number of registered users are their key metrics. For an flight company, the number of travelers, number of passengers often traveling to their flight is their key metrics. And for a network company like Airtel or Jio, the number of subscribers are their key metrics. So this is the about key metrics. And finally, 9th slide, you have to describe about your channels. Channels means how you are going to sell your product, and what are the possible channels you are going to sell your product. You can describe that. For example, e-commerce is one of the channel, retail stores is one of the channel. You can describe those things in the 9th slide. So business model canvas is a big version. I'm just want to throw some light on this part. So I have explained a very minimum content to you guys. So finally, we are entering into the major part of today's session, that is incubation stage. So basically, incubation at Technology Business Incubators. In this incubation phase only, your startup will have an enormous growth, because a lot of support system will be provided to you guys through these incubators rather than pre-incubators or R&D cells. So R&D cell is just a sparkling unit. They will just sparkle your idea, and pre-incubators, they will just carry out evaluation and BMC preparation. In this incubation unit only, you will see around a lot of support systems such as company incorporation, startup current account opening, DPIT filings and recognitions, GST, import export code, MSME, Udyogada registration, and etc. etc. We will see one by one. So first we will start with company incorporation. To make one thing clear, if you are an innovator above 18 years of age, you may be a student or faculty member, you are interested in availing incubation support from a technology business incubator, and you are ready to raise fund for your innovative idea. Let's assume this case. In this case, an incubator cannot support you if you are a sole innovator or a group of innovators. You should register your company in MCA portal. So that is the primary thing you have to do. So basically, what is this company incorporation? I hope this is one of the new thing to you guys. Company incorporation is classified into various categories. Starting from sole proprietorship concern, we have a private limited firm, LLP firm, OPC private, one-person company private limited firm, LLP means limited liability partnership, and partnership firm. So many things are here. So it's also a vast ocean. And you should register your company basically under Ministry of Corporate Affairs as a private limited company or an LLP company or a partnership firm. So sole proprietorship firm are not eligible to avail any grant from government or not, and also they are not eligible to avail incubation support from a technology business incubator. This also includes SRM IAC, so SRM Innovation Incubation Center. You should incorporate your company as an private limited or an LLP or an partnership firm. So under these three categories, your company should be incorporated. And technology business incubators basically supports you for company incorporation. They will basically connect you with chartered accountant and they will enable company incorporation for you. Then startup current account opening. Automatically, when you incorporate a company, your chartered accountant will advise you to open a current account. So current account is not a new thing, but startup current account is very much recent trend. Actually, in this, the benefit of this startup current account is that many banks such as Bank of Baroda, ICICI, Yes Bank, HDFC Bank are having a dedicated startup current account. So in case of Bank of Baroda, you can open a zero balance current account. Normally, in case of business current account, you should maintain a minimal balance. But in case of startups, you cannot generate revenue, right, at the early stage, right? So you cannot maintain a minimum balance. To enable you guys, they are offering you a zero balance current account. Along with the zero balance current account, they are also helping you to avail Mudra loan schemes. That is one of the grant schemes. We will see about it in later part of the slide. Also, they are giving you 1 lakh worth startup kit. That startup kit consists of many e-vouchers for that is Amazon Web Services voucher, Microsoft voucher, and also Vikil Search voucher, such as various internet platform vouchers. So the worth of that voucher is around 1 lakh. And Yes Bank is also offering you zero balance current account. So nowadays, many private banks started offering you startup current account. This is the secondary thing you have to do after opening your company. After that, you have to go for DPIT recognition. Support will be also provided to you guys from incubator for availing DPIT recognition. Many chartered accountants are charging around 5,000 for DPIT filings or DPIT application filing, but it will not cost you around even a single paise if you are approaching an incubator, because government is not charging any fees for DPIT recognition filing. Only the chartered accountant or charging professional fee. So the better place to approach is incubator for getting DPIT recognition. So basically, what is this DPIT? I forgot to explain that. This DPIT is Department of Promotion for Industry and Internal Trade. So why this department is essential for a startup? Because in India, this is the major department representing government and also supporting startups. So this comes under Ministry of Industry and Commerce, and Startup India also comes under this Department of Promotion and Industry and Internal Trade. So getting recognized under DPIIT is very much essential for a startup, because you cannot claim as a startup in India without this DPIIT recognition. And coming to other registration, we have goods and service tax registration, import and export code registration, and Udyam portal registration. Basically, if your startup is focusing on import export activities, you need to obtain this IEC code registration. And goods and service tax, every startup should have this certificate, GST certificate. And coming to Udyam portal registration, it's governed by Ministry of Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises. So in case of obtaining MSME Udyam Aadhar or Udyog Aadhar, earlier it was known as Udyog Aadhar, now it is known as Udyam Aadhar. In case of obtaining Udyam Aadhar or Udyog Aadhar, you can approach for DIC funding schemes, such as District Industry Center funding schemes, for generating revenue for your startup. Next thing is co-working space. So now your company has been incorporated, a startup account has been opened, DPIIT recognition has been obtained, and also other registration has been completed. So what next? You need to have a physical space for working, right? Because if you are a startup working with a team, you should definitely need to own a working space, right? So basically, this incubators, technology business incubators, is offering you co-working spaces at a very much nominal cost. Co-working means you can share your workspace with other startup companies also. So in a single co-working space, there are a number of companies, startup companies will be sitting together. So they will also have a knowledge sharing inside that platform. That is one of the major advantage. Other than that, you can share your restrooms, you can share your reception facility, you can share your lobby, you can share your video conference room, you can share your meeting room, everything, water facility, electricity facility, internet facility, you can share everything with your co-startups. So that is the basic concept of this co-working space. So for this co-working space, only minimum rental charge will be charged by your technology business incubator. So you guys are very much lucky to get an opportunities to study at your SRM University, because your institution is already having an incubator. So after graduation or in your final year of study, you may directly approach your incubator for scaling up your idea into a scalable venture. So it's a good opportunity. And the other thing is mentorship program. Let's take if one startup is working in an ECE domain and they require support from an mechanical staff, means they can onboard mentor for them. So this is one of the advantage of technology business incubator. Basically, they connect you with your required mentors. And the other thing is intern support. So some startups will be working on their idea on part-time. So they may be in X or Y location, and they may be incubated in Z location. They cannot often come to that physical location. So they will virtually do incubation under the TBI. In that case, manpower should be there in an incubator, right? For that, they can hire interns from that technology business incubator, because most of the technology business incubators are associated with an higher education institution like SRM Innovation Incubation Center and also Annamalai University Incubation Center. So that connecting a mentor for a startup and connecting an intern for a startup is not a matter for a technology business incubator. You may easily hire an intern at nominal stipend rates. Next thing is prototype development. For converting your idea into a prototype, definitely you need to own a certain set of equipments, right? If you are building an robot, or if you are building a drone, you definitely need to have a PCB printing machine, PCB drilling machine. And for body design and fabrication, you need to have a 3D printer. So all this will cost you around a big budget. Basically, you can hire these equipment available with technology business incubator at nominal cost. So that is another advantage of technology business incubator. For example, if you need to 3D print an object, you can directly hire your technology business incubators 3D printer at nominal cost. If you need to do a soldering or you need to build a PCB board, you can hire your technology business incubators PCB printer or PCB driller. so that the cost will be very much cut down. And next is testing, validation, and certification. As most of technology business are associated with higher education institutions, the certification is another advantage. So let's assume that if you are developing a drone and your drone is certified by your own SRM Institute of Science and Technology, which means it's a good recognition for your startup. So it's not an easy task getting recognized for a product from a higher education institution, but it can be easily achieved with the support of Technology Business Incubator. Next is intellectual property lines filing. So nowadays, many institutions are having IPR cells. So I hope SRM will also be having one IPR cell. So what they are doing in the IPR cell, basically they are protecting idea. So as startups are associated with innovation and intellectual property, IPR filing is very much essential. That are your unique strategic assets. So IPR is classified into copyrights, design patent, trademark, and patents, etc. So that is a big portion again. And basically, Technology Business Incubators will help you to file IPR. And one more thing is that for filing an IPR, it will cost you around 35,000 to even 90,000, 90,000. But with the help of Technology Business Incubator, you can avail subsidized funds from Startup India. So that is another advantage of TBI. And finally, we saw about various supports provided by Technology Business Incubators, especially for higher education institution based entrepreneurs such as higher education institution students and faculty members. Finally, a big question mark will be arising in everyone's mind is that who can start a startup or avail support from Technology Business Incubator. So the answer for this is that any individual, he may be a PhD scholar, he may be an UG student, or he may be a PG student, postdoctoral student, he may be an illiterate. Education is not a matter. Any individual above the age of 18 with an innovative idea, that's the main thing, innovative and impactful idea, can get the support from TBA and start their own startup. So faculty members can also start their own startup, but in one case, they should be permitted by their employer. For example, if a faculty member from SRM Institute is going to start a startup, they should obtain NOC from their SRM Institute of Science and Technology Management. So that is the main thing. But for students, it's not an issue. You may directly start your own startup with the support of Technology Business Incubator. For school students, it's difficult, but I think higher education and students can easily avail this support, because you all guys are above 18. Finally, incubator graduation stage. So all the stage are over. This is the final stage of incubator, that is incubator graduation stage. It is also known as go-to-market stage. In that go-to-market stage, you can take two decisions. One is market your product directly in your own brand name. So you can later scale up that brand using the support of the angel investors and accelerators and venture capitalists. But initially, the option one you have is marketing your product directly. Option two is selling the IP and exiting from the company. Selling the IP or company and exiting from the company. So it is called as technology transfer. So if you are basically a techie guy and not much interested on doing a business, you don't need to worry more about business. You can basically sell your intellectual property and transfer your technology. So these are the two options. So if you are choosing option one, you should definitely listen to the upcoming slides. In case if you are choosing option one, the next place you have to go for is accelerator. So this is the stage 3. In that accelerator, you can avail support such as marketing strategy implementation, growth consultation, expansion support, networking support, connect with angel investors and venture capitalists. Basically, they will do networking for upscaling your business. And primarily, they will do networking with investors such as angel investors and venture capitalists. And angel investors or a person or a company providing capital for a startup. So why they are providing capital for a startup? What is their profit? They provide capital for a startup subject to exchange for ownership equity or convertible debt. So that's the primary reason. And venture capitalists are also a person or a company providing capital for a startup. They will also provide capital subject to exchange for ownership equity or convertible debt. Almost the definition for both angel investors and venture capitalists are same, but the key difference between these two terminologies is that angel investor will invest their own hard-earned money. Basically, these angel investors are once upon a time they were entrepreneurs. Through their entrepreneurial journey, they gained a lot of experience and they are having a good evaluation skill, and then they are strongly investing in a startup. So they are investing basically their own hard-earned money. But these venture capitalists are not investing their own money. They are just investment analysts. They will connect investors with a deserving startup. So they are intermediate persons only. This is the key difference between angel investor and venture capitalist. And angel investor and venture capitalist will invest seed capital and working capital for you, right? So seed capital is almost fixed capital, and working capital is variable capital. Here are the popular angel investors website. So please take a screenshot of this slide. I will wait for 1 second. You may Google it after this session for more information regarding angel investment. Actually, this session is not associated with the angel investment or venture capitalist. Just to throw some light on those areas, to give you a big picture, I am elaborating about these areas. And then venture capitalist website are also here. So please take a screenshot of it. I'll run through my slides because time is getting delayed. And finally, pros of angel investment or venture capitalist. In investor point of view, the rate of return on investment in a startup is very, very, very high when compared to investing in a land or gold. So that is the investor point of view pros. And fund seeker point of view pros is basically their dream comes true, right? Because without investment, you cannot scale up your venture. And venture capitalist or angel investor providing you that required fund subject to exchange of equity rights. And then we will be entering into the final part of this session. Funding schemes and opportunities available for startups, entrepreneurs, techno-based entrepreneurs, etc. So far we saw about various stages of entrepreneurship, and we saw more about today about stage 3, that is incubation stage, and what are the support system provided by Technology Business Incubator, and what is the link between Technology Business Incubator and higher education institution. So what are the checklists for your startup in various stages, including stage 3, that is incubation stage. And then we saw about introduction to startup entrepreneurship and TBI. So this is the summary so far. If you have any doubts up to this slide, you may clarify it now, or else I will proceed with the final part of this session, that is funding schemes or opportunities available for early stage startups or ventures. Okay, guys, time is running. I will assume that you have no doubt, and I will proceed into the next part of the session, that is funding schemes and opportunities. So funding is, I have classified the funding into 4 categories. So big loans plus subsidies, that is category 1, seed fund, that is category 2, grant, that is category 3, and finally fellowship, that is category 4. DIC is basically District Industry Center. It's coming under Ministry of Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises. They are providing you loan with subsidies. So basically, loan is the thing that is need to be repaid, right? And let's take, if you are getting 5 lakh as loan, they will give you 1.5 lakh as subsidy. And this is not the exact figure; it is just an average figure. If you are getting 5 lakh as loan from DIC for scaling your venture, they will give 1.5 lakh subsidy, and remaining part will be 3.5 lakh will be a loan. And for the 3.5 lakh, you need to pay interest rate every monthly, and also you need to repay the entire 3.5 lakh. So this is the DIC loan plus subsidy. And then category 2 is seed fund. So seed fund is basically soft loan. Soft loan means the interest rate will not be much compared with DIC interest rate. So also in first year, the seed fund is not need to be repaid. And also no interest is need to be paid for the first year. Starting from the second year, you can pay interest, and also you can refund the amount. So this is seed fund. DIC is basically loan. Seed fund is basically soft loan, and grant is the thing which is no needed to be repaid. Grant is basically just like a prize amount for you to pursue into your startup career. It does not need to be repaid. Even a single penny is not needed to be repaid. The entire big picture is that only you need to submit utilization certificate. That is, you have to submit bill for the grant amount you have cracked. And finally, fellowship. I think you may be aware of research fellowship. If you're a PhD scholar, you may be getting research fellowship. But in India, entrepreneurs are also getting fellowship to pursue their entrepreneurial career, because in early stage, entrepreneurs don't get enough funding for managing their family. This is the main drawback for entrepreneurs in India, because we are all middle class peoples. We cannot run our family, we cannot meet our family needs in our early stage of entrepreneurial career. For this reason, government is providing fellowship for entrepreneurs also. So this is the fourth category. So let's see one by one. And I wish to say one more thing. Basically, this DIC loan is not needed to be followed by every startup. It is basically a loan, right? So you can also get it from bank. The basic thing is you will get 1.5 lakh around some amount of subsidy from this big center. But you need to focus more on category 2, 3, and 4 if you are a startup. So anyway, I will explain about big funding available in our country. First, we will start with NEET scheme, that is New Entrepreneur Come Enterprise Development Scheme. PMEGP, Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. UIEGP, Unemployed Youth Employment Generation Program. Please take a screenshot, and I will skip into the next part. First, we will start with NEET scheme. So in NEET scheme, you can avail loan from 10 lakh to 5 crores. The basic thing is you have to be a first generation entrepreneur. In case if your father is doing any business, you cannot avail fund under this scheme. So you have to be a first generation entrepreneur. And also you should fall under the age group of 21 to 35, because it focuses only on young people. So you have to fall under the age of 21 to 35. After graduation, you may be eligible for availing this NEET scheme, I think. And then the final highlight of this scheme is that if you are getting 10 lakh as grant, 25% of the loan will be a subsidized amount. So you don't need to repay that 25%. You only need to pay the interest, and you only need to repay the loan for the remaining 75%. So this is the highlight of this NEET scheme. The next scheme is PMEGP scheme. If you are a manufacturing based startup, you can avail loan up to 25 lakh. If you are a service based startup, you can avail loan up to 10 lakh. And subsidy for this scheme is that if you are an urban entrepreneur and your company is falling under the urban region, you may avail 15 to 25% of subsidy. And if you are a rural entrepreneur, you may avail 25 to 35% subsidy. This percentage varies on the quality of your innovation. So the eligibility is 18-year-old man or woman can avail this scheme. Another educational criteria for this, you should have 8th grade certificate. So UIGP, Unemployed Employment Generation Program. So for this, if you are a trade-based startup, you can generate 1 lakh loan. If you are if you are a service-based startup, you can generate 3 lakh loan. And if you are a manufacturing-based startup, you can generate 10 lakh loan. And the eligibility for this UIEGP program is you have to fall under the age group of 18 to 35 years, and you should pass in 8th grade. And the subsidy in this scheme is you can avail 25% of this loan as subsidy. So finally, we are entering into the next part, that is government seed fund at Technology Business Incubator. You may notice in my slide, I have highlighted and colored the Technology Business Incubator with red color. So basically, I wish to highlight that in case if you are availing a loan from DIC scheme, you no need to have an support of Technology Business Incubator. Also, Technology Business Incubators will not encourage you guys for availing DIC scheme. They will start only with government seed funds or soft loan. That is their starting point. They don't mind about this big schemes, but still I wanted to share those things with you guys. And in case if you are availing big loan, you no need to have a support of technology business incubator. But if you are going to track any of the funding scheme under category 3, category 2, that is soft loan, or category 3, that is government grant, and category 4, that is fellowship, you should definitely have a support of technology business incubator. And also you should be needed to submit a consent letter from your technology business incubator at the time of submitting application for grant or seed fund or fellowship. So this is the major criteria. And without the support of technology business incubator, you cannot approach this scheme. So first we will start with Ministry of Human Resource Development, RUSA 2.0 seed funding scheme. So RUSA is basically Rashtriya Uchchata Shiksha Abhiyan. That means National Higher Education Development Scheme. So this scheme has been granted to various higher education institutes such as Annamalai University, Alagappa University, government higher education institutions such as Annamalai University, Alagappa University, Anna University, Bharatiyar University, Bharathidasan University, and many regional universities. So you can avail this scheme with the help of higher education institutions based technology business incubator, the two government higher education institution based technology business incubator. And under this schemes, you can avail 25 lakh grant. Guys, please wait for 1 minute. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the inconvenience. I will continue. I can continue with the MHRD RUSA scheme. Under this scheme, you can avail 25 lakhs as seed fund, that is soft loan, and the entire amount is not needed to be repaid for the first year, and you no need to pay any interest for the first year. Starting from the second year, you need to repay the interest amount up to 4%, and you need to repay the loan amount. And next is NSTEDB, National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board. It comes under Department of Science and Technology. They are providing DIDI SSS scheme. SSS stands for Seed Support Scheme. They are providing you seed fund up to 50 lakhs. It is also a soft loan. And finally, BIRAC Seed, that is Sustainably Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development Fund. So under this scheme, you can avail seed fund up to 30 lakhs. So the main thing for BIRAC is that you should work on bio-based domain. If you are a biopreneur, you can avail this scheme, or bio-allied sector such as agriculture biotechnology or environmental biotechnology, biomedical, bioinstrumentation, etc. Only thing is you have to work on bio-based domain. For other schemes such as RUSA and NSTD, domain is not restricted. It is sector agnostic. And then other funding schemes such as grant. So grant is not needed to be repaid, as I told you. The entire grant amount is not needed to be repaid. The only thing is they will not give you operational costs. They will only give you the fixed costs such as establishment cost. But still, there are some grant agencies such as BIRAC, which is providing you grant amount for operational cost. That all a big portion I will explain in a dedicated session. So for availing grant also, you should be associated with the technology business incubators, and most of these grants are only channelized through technology business incubators. So please make a note of it. Without the support of a technology business incubator associated with the higher education institution, you cannot crack this grant. We will start with RKVY Raptor Seed Scheme. So Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, which means National Agricultural Development Program, an initiative of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. They are providing you startup agribusiness incubation program grant up to 25 lakh per startups. So the 25 lakh is entirely a grant amount. The only thing is you should work only on agricultural domain or agricultural allied sectors such as food technology or agricultural biotechnology or plant pathology. And then this same RKVY initiative is also providing you AOP scheme And the maximum permissible limit for this AOP scheme is 5 lakh per startup. The difference between SAFE and AOP is that SAFE is intended for well-grown startups and AOP is intended for early stage startup. For example, if you are in prototype stage, you can approach SAFE scheme. If you are in ideation stage, you can approach AOP scheme. And for Tamil Nadu Agricultural University is the facilitating agency for this AOP scheme. And this AOP is not an year-round application, but currently the call for is open in the state of Andhra Pradesh. You may approach Andhra Portion Incubator if you are interested. But this EDITN, Entrepreneurship Development and Innovation Institutes Innovation Voucher Program is an year-round call for. You may apply for the scheme at any time. Basically, they are providing you 2 voucher grant. Voucher A grant is worth around 2 lakh and voucher B grant is around 5 lakh. But voucher A grant is intended for R&D stage and voucher B grant is for market entry stage. This grant is an year-round call for, so you may anytime apply for this grant, and you have to approach an incubator for availing this grant. And EDITN's Tamil Nadu Student Innovators Grant. So this grant will be opened once in a year. I hope the current call for is not active. This year we received around 7,500 ideas through this TNSI, Tamil Nadu Student Innovators Program. And from this Student Innovators Program, 25 student innovators from Tamil Nadu region will be identified and they will be awarded a seed grant around 1 lakh. So this grant is mainly intended for UG, PG and PhD students. If you are not a student, if you are not a full-time student, you cannot avail this grant. And EDII seed fund. So now this grant is under Startup Tamil Nadu. So Startup Tamil Nadu seed is basically the worth of this grant is around 10 lakhs. And it is not an year-round call for. Per year, they will open this call for around 4 times. Currently, this grant is not active. And startup to government sandbox grant, it is not also currently active, but I will further explain in upcoming session. And this grant is also under the control of Startup Tamil Nadu. Earlier, it was under Entrepreneurship Development and Innovation Institute of Tamil Nadu. Under this scheme, you can generate grant from 50,000 to 5 lakh. The highlight of this grant scheme is that the government will not stop with funding your idea alone. They will also procure the goods back from you after market entry stage. For example, if you are developing a stationary innovation, if you are developing an innovative pencil or a pen, the government will procure the pen or pencil directly from you guys. Because government also have some need. The various government offices are there. They are working on hard copy papers. They need pen, paper, right? So they will basically procure stationary goods from you guys. Only criteria is your idea should be innovative and user friendly. And NSTDB's Nidhi Prayas, so Department of Science and Technology again. And earlier we saw about Nidhi SSS. So now Nidhi Prayas. Department of Science and Technology is providing enormous scheme under grant, under seed fund, and also under fellowship. Prayas is one such grant. Under this Prayas, you can avail 10 lakh grant. So basically, you should approach incubator, which is acting as Prayas Center for cracking this grant. Nearby Chennai, we have Made It Innovation Foundation, Whale Tech PBI, and other centers, other incubation centers having this Nidhi Prayas Center. EDII 2.0 grant. This EDII is also available with, I think, Sri City, nearby Chennai, you have this EDII type center at IIIT Sri City, Indian Institute of Information Technology, Sri City, which is in Andhra Pradesh, closest to Chennai. So they are providing EDII Tide grant, and the EDII is sponsored by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, that is the abbreviation. Under this Technology Incubation and Development of Entrepreneur Scheme, they are providing you 7 lakh grant. Now the grant amount has been increased. It's not 5 lakh. The grant amount is around 7 lakh. So this grant is dedicatedly provided for circuit branch based entrepreneurs. Circuit branch means instrumentation, electronics, communication, and other branches. So only if you are a circuit branch based entrepreneur, you can make use of this scheme, like BIRAC for biopreneurs. and Startup India's Prism. So Prism is a scheme exclusively provided for Ministry of Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises, and you can avail 20 lakh grant under this Startup India's Prism scheme. And BIRAC grant. BIRAC is also providing you n number of grant for biopreneurs such as biotechnology ignition grant. The and only government agency which is providing you operational cost for running your startup is BIRAC. That comes under Department of Biotechnology. Under this big scheme or LEAD scheme or ACE scheme, you can also avail operational cost. Other funding schemes are not encouraging operational component. So under this BIRAC big scheme, BIRAC big call for is currently open now. And nearby Chennai, we have this scheme active in IIT Madras Research Parks, IIT Madras Health Tech Incubator. So you may approach them, and also launching entrepreneurship driven and affordable product scheme, which is LEAP scheme. Under this scheme, you can generate 1 crore grant. So 1 crore is entirely not needed to be repaid. But the only thing is you should work on the domain of biotechnology or biotechnology allied sectors. And finally, accelerating entrepreneur scheme. You can crack up to 7 crores of grant under this scheme. Imagine, guys, you can crack 7 crores. It's unimaginable, but it's true. In BIRAC website, you can access this scheme. You can crack amount up to 7 crores. But the major thing is you have to work on biotechnology based domain. And MSME design scheme. So if you are scaling your idea, normally you need to build a industry, right? For industry building, you need to have a design. And for design purpose, you can avail this MSME's design scheme grant for up to 40 lakhs. Finally, the latest scheme in market is Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, that is Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. So Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, 2 components are there. Under grant, you can generate 20 lakh. Startup India Seed Fund Scheme is also providing you seed fund up to 50 lakh. Seed fund is to be repaid and grant is not needed to be repaid. But the major thing is you should definitely have a support of Technology Business Incubator to avail all the above scheme. Finally, fellowship. So this is the last part of this session. So almost I took more than 1.5 hours, I think. So finally, fellowship. With this, we will conclude the session, and we have again NSTEDB. So Department of Science and Technology is providing n number of grant for entrepreneurs. It's providing grant, it's providing fellowship, it's also providing seed fund scheme. In seed fund scheme, we saw about SSS scheme. In grant, we saw about the Praya scheme. And also in fellowship, they are encouraging entrepreneurs through entrepreneur in residence scheme. So under National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board, they are facilitating this scheme. So from this scheme, you can generate fellowship up to 30,000 per month, up to a period of 12 months. For 1 year, you can generate 30,000 per month. So think, guys, nowadays, many engineering graduates are not even getting that salary, but government is providing you that much fellowship as an encouraging amount for pursuing entrepreneurship as a career. So BIRAC part. So again, BIRAC is also providing seed fund. BIRAC is also providing grant. Finally, BIRAC is also providing fellowship. Under BIRAC, they are providing social innovation and immersion program component. They are providing Sparsh grant, Sparsh fellowship. Sparsh fellowship. Under this fellowship, you can avail 50,000 per month for a period of 1.5 years as fellowship. Along with the fellowship, they will also provide you innovation mini kit grant of 5 lakhs. So in one stone, you can hit 2 mangoes. So simply under this BIRAC Sparsh, you can also crack grant, also crack fellowship. Finally, MEITI type. Like BIRAC is for biopreneurs, this MEITI is for circuit branch based entrepreneurs. MEITI is also providing grant. We saw that in the grant part. And in fellowship, they are providing entrepreneur and residence scheme, technology incubation and development of entrepreneur scheme. So they are providing you 30 to 36,000 per month as fellowship for a period of 12 months. That is for 1 year. So these are the Fellowship, and finally IIT Kanpur's IAIN Fellowship, IIT Kanpur Alumni India Network Fellowship. So they are providing 50,000 per month as a fellowship for a period of 12 months, that is 1 year. But the main thing is you have to work on agri-based areas or agri-allied, such as food technology or a farm equipment manufacturing area, as the grant is sponsored by agricultural alumni of IIT Kanpur. So I have completed my session. So thanks for giving this great opportunity to the management of Sriraaman Institute of Science and Technology. And thank you, students, for listening to me patiently.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Students are given the option for unmuting yourself. If you have any doubts, you can unmute and ask your doubts.
Yes, now
Otherwise,
it's
you can
time
post
for
your comments in the chat box.
yes, now it's time for queries. Also, you may note down my contact details in the slide. If you need any support regarding incubation or approaching a right technology business incubator near you, you may always approach us. We are free to help you.
Thank you,
We
sir.
are only here to help you. So this is the second time I am handling a session for SRM Institute of Science and Technology. So I'm very much happy for that. I wish to collaborate more and more with this management and identify potential students. Already a group of students from SRM IST is incubated with our Annamalai Innovation Incubation Research Foundation. So they have developed a kit known as Know Your Baby Kit. And just they are doing their final year in UG, I think in final year UG in your campus, but they are very much potential. So your friends nearby are already incubated with us. So please be aware of your opportunities available for startup development. So finally, I will open the session for queries. If you have any doubts, we will discuss. I will also share my slides with your professors after this session. At the beginning of session, I couldn't share my slides properly, so sorry for the technical glitch. Anyway, I will share the slide with your professors.
I would like to call upon Mr. Yoganand sir to give the vote of thanks.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Mr. Sriraaman, for rightly mentioning that we have one incubator from SRM. And I hope so that would be a motivating aspect to all the students. And also, it is my pleasure to deliver this vote of thanks for today's session. And with no surprises, I know what the ED cell of Annamalai University is capable of. So, with no surprises, the session was delivered in such a way that it was like a walkthrough model from developing yes, a startup company from its scratch to get it seeded funded, how to get your funding and all the other opportunities. I thank Mr. Sriraaman for delivering whatever knowledge he has gained over these years, and it has been delivered in a nutshell to all our students. And thank you so much, Mr. Sriraaman, for this knowledge transfer. And thank you, students. If you have any other doubts or queries also, you can post it to Mr. Sriraaman mail ID. Every queries will be answered by him. Okay, there is no, if there is any student who is interested in your startups or how to create your own startup, I would say these are the best persons you can choose, who are friendly to help and they know what we are capable of, and knowing our strength, they would help us and guide us in the right path. With these words, Mr. Sriraaman, once again, it is a big thanks from the management of SRM, Ramapuram
Thank you, sir.
campus.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You share your last slides. The students are asking your mail ID, sir.
Fine, sure, sir.
Yes.
I've also posted it in the chat box.
So, sir, I posted the mail ID in the chat box. So please make a note. And students, please kindly give your valuable feedback. The feedback link is posted in the chat box.
And also, if you have any queries, I'm happy to address.
Dear participants, kindly give your valuable feedback.
Students, please enter your feedbacks.